Alright, let's talk about one of the most intriguing and debated projects in the entire crypto space, the Pi network. You've probably heard about it from a friend, seen it on social media, or maybe you're one of the millions of people who have been tapping a button on their phone every single day, accumulating Pi coins. For years, the big question has been, when will this all mean something? Well, the community is buzzing with anticipation around a specific date, September 30th, 2025, which many believe is the moment everything changes. This isn't just another Tuesday, it's pegged as the potential open mainnet launch, a day that could finally assign a real-world value to the digital coins so many have patiently collected. The excitement is absolutely palpable, and for a good reason. Pi Network has taken a completely different approach compared to giants like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Instead of requiring powerful computers or expensive hardware for mining, it allows users to mine coins directly from their smartphones with minimal effort and no battery drain. This incredibly low barrier to entry has helped it build a massive global community, with tens of millions of users, all waiting for the project to fulfill its ultimate promise. The journey has been long, filled with phases of testing, development, and a whole lot of waiting, which has naturally led to both immense hope and a healthy dose of skepticism. This essay is going to break it all down for you. No complicated jargon, no confusing technical terms. We're going to dive deep into the official Pi Network whitepaper to understand the core vision behind this ambitious project. We'll separate the confirmed facts from the rampant speculation and myths that have been circulating online. Think of this as your definitive guide to understanding what is really happening with Pi Network as we approach this monumental date. We will look at what the developers have officially stated, what the plan is, and what you, as a user or an interested observer, should realistically expect. The stakes are high, not just for the users who have invested their time, but for the broader cryptocurrency landscape. If Pi Network succeeds in its mission to create a widely distributed and accessible digital currency, it could fundamentally change how ordinary people interact with blockchain technology. It could be the project that finally brings crypto to the masses, moving it from a niche investment for the tech-savvy to a daily tool for everyone. So, let's get into the details, sort through the noise, and figure out what the September 2025 reveal truly means for the future of Pi. So, what is the Pi network at its core? Imagine a digital currency, much like Bitcoin, but with one massive difference. You don't need a supercomputer or a warehouse full of specialized mining rigs to earn it. The creators of Pi, a team of Stanford graduates, wanted to solve a major problem they saw in the first generation of cryptocurrencies. They felt that currencies like Bitcoin had become too difficult and expensive for the average person to get involved with. The process of mining had been centralized into the hands of large corporations and wealthy individuals who could afford the necessary equipment, which goes against the decentralized spirit of crypto. Pi Network's solution was brilliantly simple. Let people use the one device they already have in their pockets, their smartphone. They designed an app that allows you to earn Pi coins by simply opening it once a day and tapping a button to prove you're an active participant. This process is often called mining, but it's important to understand it's not the same as Bitcoin mining. It doesn't use your phone's processing power or drain your battery because the heavy lifting is done by a different consensus algorithm. The daily check-in is more of a mechanism to fairly distribute the currency and ensure engagement within the network. The system is built on a concept of social trust. You increase your mining rate by inviting trusted friends and family to join your security circle. Show security circle diagram. This helps secure the network by creating a global trust graph where users vouch for each other's authenticity. This social component is a key part of the project's design, aiming to prevent bad actors and bots from accumulating coins unfairly. The entire idea is to build a massive, pre-vetted user base before the currency goes fully live and has a monetary value. It's a completely backward approach compared to most crypto projects that launch first and then try to attract users. Ultimately, the goal is to create the world's most widely used and accessible peer-to-peer cryptocurrency. By putting the power of currency creation into the hands of millions of ordinary people around the globe, Pi hopes to foster a genuine digital economy. People could potentially use Pi to buy goods and services directly from each other, without needing banks or traditional financial intermediaries. The project has been in an enclosed mainnet phase for a while, allowing users who have passed identity verification or KYC to experiment with transactions within a closed ecosystem, setting the stage for the much-anticipated full launch. When you cut through all the technical language, the Pi Network whitepaper lays out a very clear and ambitious mission: to build a cryptocurrency and a smart contracts platform that is secured and operated by everyday people. The document emphasizes that the history of money has shown a constant trend toward abstraction, from bartering goods to using gold, then paper money, and now digital currencies. The creators argue that the next natural step is a digital currency that is not controlled by governments or banks but by the people who use it. A central theme of the white paper is accessibility. The authors, Dr. Nicholas Kokalis and Dr. Chengdiao Fan, repeatedly stress the importance of a low barrier to entry. They point out that Bitcoin's proof-of-work system, while revolutionary, consumes enormous amounts of energy and concentrates power in the hands of those with the most computational resources. Pi's alternative is the Stellar Consensus Protocol, which relies on a network of trusted participants rather than raw computing power. Let's get straight to the point. Vertical bar talk about what is actually confirmed regarding the launch based directly on the official white paper and announcements from the Pi core team. The single most important concept to understand is the phased approach. Pi Network was never designed to just launch overnight. The white paper confirms the transition to open mainnet is conditional. It is not tied to a fixed calendar date like September 30th, 2025. Instead, the launch depends on 3 conditions. Condition 1, mass KYC completion. Condition 2, migration of mined Pi balances to mainnet. Condition 3, a viable ecosystem of apps and utilities. So where does September 30th, 2025 come from? It's not in the original white paper as a hard deadline. It emerged from community speculation and roadmap interpretations. With a project as large and long-running as Pi Network, it's really no surprise that myths and rumors have spread like wildfire. One of the biggest myths is that Pi is already worth a specific amount, $314,159, a meme in the community. Let's be crystal clear. As of today, during the enclosed mainnet period, Pi has no officially recognized or tradable value. Any IOU listings on some exchanges are not the real Pi coin. They're speculative derivative products, basically bets on a future price. Another common myth: Pi is a scam or a get-rich-quick scheme because it's taken so long to launch. The white paper and the project's methodology contradict that. Get-rich-quick schemes ask for upfront investment. Pi has never done that. The app is free to use. Scams tend to launch quickly to cash out. Pi's long development cycle focuses on community and utility before assigning value, the opposite of a scam. There's a persistent rumor that the founders are getting rich by selling user data. The Pi Network's privacy policy and the white paper state the goal is to build a decentralized ecosystem, not to monetize user data like traditional social media companies do. The KYC process, which requires submitting personal information, is handled by third-party vendors and is a standard requirement in the crypto world to comply with anti-money laundering regulations. To truly understand what's happening with Pi Network, you must grasp the concept of the enclosed mainnet. Think of it like a city that has been fully built. The roads are paved, the buildings are up, and people are moving in. But the main highways connecting it to the rest of the world are still closed. Inside the city, people can drive around, visit each other, and conduct business. This is exactly what the enclosed mainnet is: a live, functioning blockchain, but with a firewall preventing any interaction with the outside world. During this phase, pioneers who have successfully completed their KYC verification and had their Pi balance transferred to the main net can actually use their Pi. They can send Pi and receive Pi from other KYC'd users, which is a major step. This allows for the creation of a closed-loop economy. For example, some pioneers have set up marketplaces where they trade real goods and trade services for Pi, a practice known as peer-to-peer or P2P bartering. This is a critical testing ground to see if Pi can function as a medium of exchange. The primary purpose of the enclosed mainnet, as detailed in blog posts that supplement the white paper, is to allow the ecosystem to mature without being exposed to the wild volatility of the external crypto market. If Pi were listed on exchanges right away, its price could be heavily manipulated by speculators, which could kill the project before it even has a chance to build real utility. By keeping the network closed, the focus remains on building applications and fostering a community that values Pi for what it can do, not just for its potential speculative price. This phase also serves as a massive, real-world stress test. The core team can monitor the blockchain's performance, identify and fix bugs, and ensure the network is stable and secure enough to handle millions of transactions. It gives them time to scale up the KYC process to onboard as many users as possible before the open mainnet launch. Every successful P2P transaction and every new app that launches within the enclosed system provides valuable data and strengthens the case for Pi's long-term viability. It is a slow, deliberate, and necessary step toward achieving the project's final vision. Let's imagine for a moment that the Pi core team successfully meets all its conditions and announces that September 30th, 2025 is indeed the day for the open mainnet launch. What would actually happen? For the average user, the immediate change might not be as dramatic as you think, but the underlying mechanics will shift profoundly. The most significant event would be the removal of the firewall that currently isolates the Pi blockchain. On this day, the network would become permissionless, meaning anyone, cryptocurrency exchanges, wallet providers, other blockchains could connect to it. For pioneers, the first tangible effect will be the ability to move their PI outside of the official Pi wallet, transfer to external wallets that support the Pi blockchain, or send them directly to cryptocurrency exchanges that decide to list Pi. This is the moment that will unlock the potential for liquidity. It means you could, in theory, trade your Pi for other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or for traditional fiat currencies like the US dollar. This is the step that connects Pi to the global financial system and establishes a public market price. However, it's crucial to manage expectations. A launch doesn't guarantee an immediate high price or universal acceptance. On launch day, we can expect immense volatility. The price of Pi will be determined by the simple forces of supply and demand. With millions of users potentially looking to sell some of their holdings, there could be significant downward pressure on the price initially. Conversely, the massive size of the Pi community could attract intense interest from buyers and speculators, pushing the price up. It will likely be a chaotic period of price discovery, and it's important for users to be prepared for this roller coaster ride. Beyond the price, the launch of the open mainnet will be a signal to the entire developer community. With an open and accessible blockchain, developers from around the world will be able to build on the Pi platform without needing permission from the core team. This could lead to an explosion of new apps and services, creating the vibrant ecosystem envisioned in the whitepaper. The success of the network long-term will depend far more on the utility and adoption that follows the launch than on the initial price action of that first day. The launch isn't the finish line, it's the starting gun. The potential launch of Pi Network's open mainnet is more than just a big day for its users. It's a significant event for the entire cryptocurrency industry. For years, the holy grail for crypto has been mass adoption. Despite all the hype around Bitcoin and other major coins, the reality is that cryptocurrency is still a niche interest for most of the world's population. Pi Network, with its user base of tens of millions of people from nearly every country on Earth, represents the single largest experiment in mass adoption ever attempted. If Pi successfully transitions to an open, functional economy, it could provide a blueprint for how to bring blockchain technology to the masses. This could fundamentally shift the narrative around crypto from being a speculative asset for the few to a practical tool for the many. Furthermore, Pi's emphasis on building utility before speculation is a powerful counter-narrative to the casino-like atmosphere that dominates much of the crypto market. If this model proves successful, it could encourage a more sustainable and value-driven approach to project development across the board, leading to a healthier and more mature crypto ecosystem. In conclusion, the story of Pi Network is one of massive ambition and patient execution. As we look toward the potential milestone of September 30th, 2025, it's essential to anchor our expectations in the confirmed facts laid out by the project's white paper and its creators. The journey is not about a magical date on the calendar, but about meeting three critical conditions: mass KYC verification, successful mainnet migration of balances, creation of a robust ecosystem with real utility. The open mainnet will launch when the network is ready and not a moment sooner. So, what should you do next? First, stay informed through official sources. Follow the Pi Network's official blog and in-app announcements rather than relying on rumors or social media hype. If you are a pioneer, the most important action you can take is to complete your KYC application when you are invited to do so. Second, explore the Pi browser and the apps being developed within the ecosystem. Participating in the enclosed mainnet economy is the best way to help the network meet its third condition for launch. Ultimately, whether Pi Network becomes a revolutionary force in the world of finance or a footnote in crypto history remains to be seen. However, its journey has already provided invaluable lessons about community building, user accessibility, sustainable project development. The road ahead is still long, but for the millions of pioneers worldwide, the potential reward of being part of this grand experiment is well worth the patient tap of a button, day after day.